Good morning, everybody. We're with Sterling. And today's the 20th of December, 5 days till Christmas.
It is, yeah.
So you had some housekeeping.
We do. And so last week we talked about you getting very, very close to 42,000 subs. And so now you're just a shy there, but because it's holiday week, Christmas week, we're going to announce a winner of the free half-hour session with myself. And that winner is Pat Red, I think is how you pronounce her name. It might be Reed, but it's R-E-D. So Pat Red, congratulations. Just contact our offices, info@sterlingpsychicmedium.com, and then we'll take care of all the rest. So
and we'll have on the bottom of this how to contact your connection, how to contact.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we got your questions, ladies and gentlemen. God, this is 3 pages.
I think there were, I have to go check with Linda. I think there were another 800 or 1,000 questions. I forgot what the number was, but.
It's usually 1,000 every time we do this.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's 3 pages.
Wow.
Are you ready? You better get comfortable.
I am sitting back and all ready to go.
Okay. So here we go. From the other side, does Karen Carpenter have a message for us? I love her.
Yeah, and and we love her too. And it's interesting. She came through 3 times to me this week. So sometimes I'm always I'm on the lookout for whoever wants to have a message for the Sunday show. And she came by 3 times. I said, okay, must be. And I'll just take a quick footnote. I said to my wife Linda, I said, okay, well, I have the person that wants to talk this week, and Linda guessed Karen Carpenter. So I said, okay, well then that's absolutely So obviously it was coming to her too. Anyway, one of the messages you want to get across was that there's a lot of depression going around right now because of the pandemic, and a lot of people are having a lot of difficulty. The message she wanted to get out was that please talk about it, like get it out in the open, because one of the things she did, she hid a lot of her problems, even though they were therapy, but she denied it all. So she's saying, first off, she wanted to get the message of depression, talk to somebody, reach out. A lot of people out there that can help. The other thing, she wanted to send a lot of love to her brother, Richard, who is still here, still on earth, and also talk about the fact that there's a lot of good coming in 2021. And so she told me kind of jokingly, it's kind of ironic that one of our biggest hits was We've Only Just Begun. And so that was the kind of message she wanted to get out there regarding 2021, much better year, beginning of a lot of good things. So really nice lady. And I never met them directly, but they were certainly they're A&M Records artists. And I was around A&M Records a lot during the years, but good
and
people.
The reputation was that they were good people to work with.
They were, yes, solid people, wonderful people. Yeah. And Richard, a brilliant arranger, brilliant. So yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. I still listen to their stuff. I haven't heard Merry Christmas, Darling yet. I'm going to have to put that on.
Yeah. I think Richard.
I like Andy Williams' Christmas music.
True, absolutely.
And my favorite is David Bowie and Bing Crosby.
Right.
That little gig.
The little drummer boy, I think they did. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Why is Pfizer vaccine delivery being cut 30% to some states? Is the vaccine intentionally being obstructed?
No intentional obstruction. This is a supply chain issue, and it's a communication issue. So what it gets down to is an expectation of like what kind of supplies would be available and when. So it's a supply chain issue that will be fully taken care of by January. So only like within 2 weeks, everything will be completely back on track. So
will we have a choice of Moderna
or Pfizer?
Yeah. Or will that be up like I have Kaiser? Kaiser, I'll buy whoever they want, and then I have to take
it. No, I'm being told you will, as the supply chain fills up, you will have a choice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Will Hunter Biden be exonerated?
He will. One of the biggest issues there, I think, is surrounding tax law, they're telling me. But once this all gets put into the light of day, so to speak, that under U.S. tax laws, he'll be completely vindicated. Awesome. And there was a Hunter Biden question that came up last Sunday, but I got that he was going to be completely exonerated last Sunday as well, so we didn't get a chance to say it. So yeah.
Will Governor Gavin Newsom be recalled?
No. Lots of discussion around that, people making waves, so to speak. But actually, there's a certain amount of reasonableness that people are going to understand that some of the actions he took were in everybody's best interest. So no recall.
Okay. And he's the one out here that was one of the first and forefront in line for gay rights.
Yep, absolutely.
So, okay. Can mental exercise or chanting help kill cancer cells?
So whenever you engage in mental chanting or prayer or that nature, it puts you in alignment with not only your angels and guides, but kind of the one force. So it's kind of a unification. So it does help. It does help heal the body. So it certainly helps. It's part of a cure. Let's put it that way. It's part of a cure process. Yeah.
If you wake up and see images of people trying to talk to you, but you can't hear them, are you having a psychic moment? Question mark. If so, how do you release fear and open up to hear the messages? And how do you protect yourself as well? 3 questions.
Yeah, no, a lot of questions in there. So absolutely, whenever you see a vision of that kind, that's either your guides trying to communicate with you or family members. So it almost takes a little bit of prying, if you will, to figure out there's somebody conveying a message to you. These are guides or your family members. Now, if it scares you, you can kind of ask them to kind of leave and come back later, kind of a thing. But it's somebody definitely with a benevolent, loving message trying to communicate with you.
Okay. What is the story behind the Russian hack of our federal government? Is Russia going to use the information obtained as a bargaining tool with the Biden administration? Was 45 involved or aware of it? Will there be consequences to Russia and all its enablers?
So interesting facts here is that not only was Russia involved, but they're telling me China was involved as well. So it's almost a bit of a combined effort. But they found a weakness through a firm that was based in Austin, Texas. They're talking about a firm that had, that was the gateway. There was a firm that had a vulnerability in Austin, Texas. That was the gateway to the 33,000 organization, including U.S. government. So the next part of that question is they're not going to be able to hold that over Biden's head. They try to install a backdoor, a vulnerability. But our security team and FBI are already aware of that. And so there are things being put in place to rectify that.
Okay.
So, yeah, not a lot of stolen information, nothing there to leverage, but a backdoor vulnerability. Yeah.
Okay.
Long question and long answer.
Okay. Will the back channel to Russia ever be discovered? If so, is there a physical record of it, and will the public learn of it?
Yes, and this came up a number of Sundays ago when you and I were talking, but part of that back channel that was set up between 45 and Russia was, believe it or not, through social media, code being delivered in social media messages, whether it's on Twitter or other device. So there's certain code words in there that they would get because they knew that no other way to kind of get it across.
Wow.
So the back channel will be discovered, the way it was handled and the way it was set up. Yes.
Okay. Why is Biden soliciting millions for a virtual inauguration?
So a lot of these are.
Is that true? Is he actually doing that?
Yeah, there are millions being raised, but a lot of what they're telling me is that it's for conventional purposes. So even though somebody might think that it's only a Zoom event or something of nature, there are physical costs with setting up the production and organizing. So there's nothing there that's not above board, I think is the real key thing. There are millions being raised, but it's above board.
It's not going to be what happened with Trump, which we're still yet to come into, about all the backroom deals they did.
Right, where like a hotel ballroom in Trump's hotel went for 350 or 500,000.
Yeah,
and got rented out the next week for 5,000 or something. So,
yeah. They all pocket it.
Right.
Will there be a breakthrough in non-addictive chronic pain medication?
Yes, but it'll be a technology. So it won't be pharmaceutical. It'll be something on the order of almost like a chip or electronic device you put in your arm or your leg. And they'll use what they call nanometer technology. Nanometer same kind of technology that you use, nanotechnology and integrated circuits. So yes, it's coming. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, the time frame for that, we'll first see that that's a 5 to 10 year window before that starts coming onto the scene for testing and evaluation. Yeah.
Cool. Can other people's spirit guides contact you?
They can, but it's a little bit of like a universal telephone company. So they actually do make the connection through your spirit guides and angels. So it may not be a direct connection, but it's this connection almost through your guiding angels and guides. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to worry about Congress objecting to the Electoral College vote confirming Biden as POTUS when Congress meets on January 6th?
That's going to be smooth sailing. So that's going to go just fine. When I say just fine, there's going to be some dialogue like there always is of people, you know, claiming things. But in the end, it's going to go smooth. It's going to be all confirmed January 6th. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to worry about Congress objecting to the Electoral College vote? Oh, wait, we just said that. Will orphan children be united with their families after they die? Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, because we all get joined up by our larger spiritual families. That's our direct family, a larger spiritual family. And there's several hundred individuals in these spiritual families, but you all get reunited when you cross over. Absolutely.
I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I even see two mothers, two fathers. So I can kind of tell the person was adopted because there's a biological and another one.
Yeah, absolutely. But if they acted as your mother, father, let's say here on earth, that is part of your spiritual family.
Right, right. Will 45 leave the Republican Party and start his own party?
No, because he feels that his strongest base is somehow aligned with the Republican Party because he still has a lot. He knows where all the skeletons are buried, like all these skeletons in the GOP's closet. So he feels like he has greater leverage over that. So he won't try to start a new party, you know.
Okay. Do the transcripts from the Rock Collective teachings, the Law of One, hold true today?
And I think that references to Ra, that was like the sun god, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So that all relates to one force, one energy, kind of, you know, the God force, the one universal force. Absolutely. And that force exists in all of us and all things. Yeah, so that still has relevance today. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely.
Well, are Palladiums and the Men in Black one and the same?
No, they're not one and the same, but Palladians, like other aliens, could do shape-shifting and cloak themselves, right, to hide. So you may see what looks like Men in Black that are really Palladians, but there are actually Men in Black, so that they aren't the Palladians. By the way, you had an experience like that. I think somebody told you about experience where they saw three men walking.
Three men.
Coats. So that's a great experience.
Do you think they were angels or are they Palladians or men?
I believe
they were all tall, very 7 feet, and all wearing black trench coats.
Yeah, my recollection.
She said white.
Right.
Very white.
Yeah, my recollection is those would have been Palladians, but yeah.
Okay, but she didn't get a bad feeling from them.
Nope, we're all good.
One did glance over at her, and she said it gave her, but it was so weird, you know. That was cool. See, now we could pull out the cell phone and take pictures.
Right.
Will mankind someday have electronics embedded in their body for communication?
Yeah, absolutely. It won't even be a second thought because as a lot of the chip technology is very, very small, it's easy to kind of do what they call a surface mount on the skin. And so you'll be able to communicate via, you know, near term, near field. You know, I think there's Bluetooth technologies, but other technologies for communication. So you'll be able to utilize those on behalf of the body for making telephone calls and communicating with others. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's great. Is Nancy going to do anything about the people that signed up with Texas and committed sedition?
You know, that's going to result into what I call kind of a severe kind of slap on the wrist. So I think the question was all about, will they be kind of, I don't know what the term is, I forget, shunned in the house?
Or not
What's the term?
seated. Remember, they said she
Not
has the
seated,
right to
right?
not seat them.
Yeah. What they're telling me is that had they been more directly involved in that crazy legal claim that was put out by 45, right? They would have, but what they did was they endorsed it and signed it. I get it, but so they'll still be seated.
Okay. Can you shed some light on crop circles? Can we access higher realm information if we visit crop circles?
So yeah, crop circles are a great tool for aliens communicating with us, and there's different species of aliens. So we're going to learn how to decipher crop circles at some point over the next number of years. There can be better technology and artificial intelligence used to try to decipher crop circles. I think the question was being asked, like, will you get, let's say, spiritually enlightened? Nothing magical there. Just if you can interpret the crop circle, that will be the enlightenment. So.
Okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I almost feel somebody was talking about how they were asking questions to a higher form and were getting crop circles as answers, but they couldn't figure out the answer.
Yeah, and all that is part of two-way communication with the aliens. Absolutely. So when they see it, when they sense a need, then they try to convey the answer. Yeah.
Okay. Chris Miller, the acting defense secretary, halted the Pentagon from having any briefings and further collaboration with the transition team. Why? What are they planning?
Nothing incredible here that would be all that, worrisome. There's a lot of, I'll call, buffoonery going on in the White House. A lot of whatever information they think they're not getting is all going to be picked up in the beginning of January. So there's nothing criminal. It's just a lot of inefficiency going on. Yeah.
Okay. Do alien beings know when someone is trying to contact them?
They do if they're connected to your spiritual family. So a lot of us have alien ancestry that's connected to our family. So if they're directly within like your spiritual family, they'll know. If they're across other species and no connection, then they won't necessarily know directly you're connecting with them.
Do alien races fight or even have wars against each other? Are there Star Wars?
Yeah, absolutely. There are Star Wars because just like on the human race, there's fighting over territory and supremacy and those kinds of things. But a lot of those kinds of wars occur in galaxies that we're not familiar with yet. So
okay.
we've not seen it directly.
Okay. Will the financial picture improve in the coming year for employees at public radio stations and newspapers once Biden is in office, or should people who work at these organizations start looking for other work?
Public radio stations, and I think they mentioned newspapers in there, are no more vulnerable than a lot of the other press and media. And what I mean by that is that they're going to be okay getting into next year, 2021. But everybody will have to be socially active and find their own audience in order to scale the audience. So no real danger specific to public radio or public newspapers. Kind of the same kinds of challenges all conventional media will have. Yeah.
Okay. 45 entertained the Proud Boys at the White House recently. What was the purpose?
This was a backup plan in case 45 felt they needed some support in cities to try to create some havoc and some riots. So this was like kind of, hey, in case I need your support, we may need a little bit of activity in certain cities, but that's what it's all about. Now, even if some of this activity does spring up, it'll be squelched very quickly by local law enforcement and even the military. So,
yeah. Are there physical signs of the body that signals your angels are with you?
There are. And in all spiritual encounters, there's all sorts of levels of interaction. So orbs are a very common one. If you see orbs, cold chills, you get a chill on the body, apparitions, all sorts. Yeah, there are a number of things that will indicate for you that there are spirits around. Absolutely.
Will Jeffrey Rosen do any damage as acting attorney general before January 20th?
No, nothing significant because he doesn't have the runway. Actually, there's two things they're telling me here. He doesn't have the runway to kind of make a change. And the other is that he still wants some sort of a position in government going forward. So he doesn't want to like kind of blow it, so to speak,
Right.
and then Biden comes in. He's still looking for a position in government. So no, it's not going to be a big issue. No.
What is the future of water availability in the lower border states, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona for the next 4 to 10 years?
And that was related to water and drought, right?
Yeah.
Question, water and drought, yeah. Yeah, I mean, due to climate change, a lot of states, not just the ones that were just mentioned there, will be on severe water conservation. Absolutely. That's going to be with us for at least a good decade for a lot of states.
Yeah.
Until climate change starts to shift a little bit more. So yeah, severe water conservation, but everybody's going to get through it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. I saw that back when remember when Georgia was pretty near dry? It was going through a terrible time.
Sure.
And then now they're back again, but I thought many other states were going to suffer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why are so many people willing to follow and believe 45?
Well, there's some pretty direct information on the answer to that question. So I'll kind of lay it out there. But if you're aligning yourself to things like racism and white supremacy and kind of what I'll call monetary gain, that just uniquely for you and not the benefit of others, you'll be aligned with that methodology.
Okay.
That makes sense. So that's kind of the easiest way I can put it out there. If you align with those methodologies, you'll be aligned with 45.
Yeah. Okay, good. With Dr. Jill Biden as our new First Lady, will teachers finally get the monetary recognition they have always deserved?
Yes, within 4 years, that's inside the Biden presidency that we have right now. There will be some acts that will go across our economy and school systems that put teacher salary in alignment with what I'll call companion businesses. So and other professionals. So there'll be a unilateral act that will kind of bring the salaries up. It will.
I do see it happening now. Obama wanted to do that too.
Right.
But he got cut off because the Republicans were just dead set against him. But exactly. I feel they'll be able to compromise and come up with something.
They will, and my guys are saying within 4 years, it's not going to be the first year or two, but by the end of 4 years, it's going to happen.
Good. I'm a college student, and all of us are stressed about our grades and grade point average for transfer and grad school applications. When we apply in the future, will they lower the GPA requirements or take into account 2020?
Almost related to some of what we were just talking about, but what I see is that there's going to be a bill passed by Congress that I'll call the Education Act of like 2021 that will actually do what I call it like sort of a weighted average on GPAs and whatnot. So it'll take into account the pandemic in 2020 and kind of reduce the impact of GPA in 2020. And they're telling me it'll almost be called like the Education Act.
Okay.
2021, yeah.
We have an old car that my grandson used to ride in when he was 3 years old. It sits in the garage and the battery hasn't been charged in years, but it will go off, talk, and make car sounds. My grandson is now 10 years old, and I want to know what is going on with the car. Is it spirit? It has scared me at times to be out in the garage. Please, can you help?
Yeah, so that's a benevolent spirit. That's actually like a family member that passed over. It feels like they're telling me it's a grandfather or maybe a father. I'm not sure which family we're talking about here, but that's a benevolent spirit trying to make contact and try to say, I'm still around.
Oh, yeah. So it's with the family. It's not something that was with the car.
No, yeah, it's with the family, connected to the family. They're trying to say, look, I'm around. Now, by the way, they're telling me to mention to this family, whoever it is, that if it scares them, you can actually just acknowledge that relative and say, look, we acknowledge, we're sending our love. Now, please stop it because it's scaring us.
Okay.
No.
Knock it off.
By the way, that reminds me, there's two famous car movies like that. Was like My Mother the Car,
Right.
wasn't that a TV series?
Mhm.
And then Christine, right? Stephen King,
Right.
right?
Oh, that was a good movie. Now you give me an idea of another movie.
Right, right.
Do you see anything coming up in the next week?
I do. I see aggressive talks continuing around, the package that Pelosi and McConnell are trying to get through in Congress, right? Whether that's the unemployment / stimulus, whether that comes up to be $600, that's going to move forward. I do see more concerns over the, I'll call it the mental fitness of 45, the mental fitness. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, because they're wondering if he's lost his mind.
Because you and I talked about that either last show or the show before that about my concerns over mental illness, mental fitness. That's still going to happen. I do see still some concerns around North Korea. So there's something happening around North Korea that we're going to be a little bit concerned about. A month or two ago, it came up as a nuclear accident. There's still something coming up there.
Okay.
That's coming up. But I think that's most of what's happening. And then more aggressive movements still on a third vaccine. The more aggressive talks on a third vaccine for approval. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. And do you have any information that your guys want to share?
They do. The simple message conveying this week is kind of look to the future, 2021. This is going to be kind of a marvelous year of change and going full circle on the show like they always do, just like the Carpenter song, like, we've only just begun. So 2021 is going to be a great year. Yeah.
Much better than 2020.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what about that eclipse on the 21st? You get anything on that? Or is that just a slow process of
new start?
I just feel a big change coming,
yeah,
but not all at once.
It's a new start, but it's nothing that's cataclysmic, end of the world, whatnot. We all know the Mayan calendar ended, December 21st but yeah, it's not cataclysmic, but it's a beginning of a big start. So I think more people will feel an uplifting energy after the 21st.
They'll notice it.
They will.
A little hope out there, my friend.
Exactly. Well, anyway, it's
yeah. Well, you guys, we'll see you next Sunday. Have a Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays to everybody. Yeah.
So I'm staying home. How about you?
We are. We're gonna stay safe, and we're gonna just with the dogs, and we're all good.
Yeah, that's as long as I got my babies who sit there and stare if you eat. I want everything. Okay, sweetie. Thank you. Bye, guys.